Joining the podcast is Treyvon Chatman, who was the first all-state basketball player ever at Cordova. Trayvon, what does that honor mean to you?
It meant a lot. I didn't really know about it till like the end of the year when I got it, and then Coach Burns had showed me like the history, and nobody had ever did it. So it was pretty cool to know that I went to a school that ain't really known for basketball a lot, but to be the first player ever to do that at a school was actually pretty cool.
So how does that even happen? I mean, you told me that you didn't start playing basketball until you were in the eighth grade, but you ended up playing varsity, all 4 years. You were at Walker for two, which is now Jasper, Parrish for one, and then Cordova for one. How did that happen? I mean, you were two-time county champ, got some honors in the Daily Mountain Eagle, county MVP. How does that happen?
Basically my eighth grade year, well, from the time I was like 4 years old, all I played was football for real. My dad loved it, so that's all I really knew. In eighth grade, we had a coach named Coach St. John. He was like the PE teacher too. So like he just seen me shoot one day in PE and he was like, "You need to try out for the basketball team." So I did and I made it. And once I played it for like a year, I just realized like I liked it way better than football. So like basically I just quit football like going into my ninth grade year and just focused on basketball.
What kind of football player were you? Were you a DB?
Yeah, when I played like toy ball, I played like DB and I played some quarterback and like running back and stuff like that. Then in middle school, I played safety.
Okay, okay. I got you. Man, I remember watching you play high school back when you were at Cordova and that county championship, man, that was probably your best game. I think you went what was it, 23 points, 11 assists. Take me back to that game. What was that atmosphere like? Didn't there wasn't there a big fight that broke out that game?
Yeah, so basically, the reason why the fight broke out, what had happened was about the game. It was a big thing on Twitter. Ken Pettis that used to play at Dora, he basically asked me like on Twitter like who was the best player in the county. I told him, and then the point guard from Dora got mad because I didn't put him on there. So it was like a big old thing. So everybody made it this big deal. So when the game started, I just basically took it as like a challenge and basically like took it as like this the most meaningful game of the year at the time. So other than that, I played pretty good, and towards the end, it was just a hard foul on me. The Cordova fans got mad, the Dora fans was into it, so that whole big thing happened. The crazy thing is, I didn't even know they was fighting. I was just getting up when all that was happening. So like, we just went to the locker room.
What was Coach Burns saying about that?
He was just saying that people don't know how. You know how he was just saying people don't know how to act. He was like basically saying all that stuff and saying people can't let a game finish. And the crazy thing is, Jason Atkins came in the locker room and he asked us did we want to finish the game, and we told him yeah, but he told the fans that they had to finish the game, but every fan had to leave the building. That's the only way the game could finish. And basically, the fans told him no. So like they just called the game.
That's crazy. Well, I know that was probably your best game, but your highest uh, point game, you scored 33 points against Pontotoc, who was the number one school in Mississippi. What was going on that day? Were you just feeling it?
What's crazy is the first half I only had 2 points. Like we was playing at Itawamba, who I already had an offer from, and I was really just trying to show that I was like a leader and a point guard, trying to be a floor general. So like at halftime, we was down like 18 points, and Coach Burns basically came up to me and was like, "You only shot the ball like two times. Like, what you doing?" And I was like, basically tell him like I'm just trying to get everybody involved and like you feel me, so that I can be a passer and a PG. And he was basically saying like, "Well, we're gonna lose the game if you keep playing like that." So I just took matters into my own hands. I hit like 8 threes the second half, and I just got hot, so I just kept shooting.
Well, speaking of Coach Burns, you played for Coach Burns at Parrish. You guys had a little bit of a run there. You kind of put a really tiny school that's not a high school anymore on the map and made it all the way to the state championship, but you lost to St. Jude. What was that season like? How disappointing were you to lose that game?
Um, at the time, I was really disappointed. Like a lot of people don't even know, but like when we at the end of the game when we lost, where they give you like the trophy and stuff, and you touch it, I didn't even want to touch it, like because I was mad. But like once it's over with, and you go on and you think about it, it was just it's really good accomplishment because there's a lot of people in the world that play high school basketball that don't even get a chance to play in the playoffs, let alone play in the state championship. So at the time, it was disappointing, but we lost to a good team, so it wasn't like we just lost to somebody we shouldn't lose to.
Well, on the flip side, Coach Burns ends up going to Cordova after Parrish is not a high school anymore. What was that like to see your former coach and some of your former teammates winning a state championship?
Oh, it was exciting for real. I was there, and That was a good game, man. I was happy. I was happy, especially for Meek because he played really good that game. And a lot of people don't know is my senior year, like Coach Burns basically tasked me with saying like train Meek, like he next, like he gonna be the PG when you leave. So like watching him his senior year, like go out there and Isaac get in foul trouble, and he got to step up, and he was scoring the first half, keeping him in the game, which he did his job. It was actually exciting to watch, and I was really happy for him.
Well, I had your former Parrish teammate Labarius Hill on the podcast not too long ago, and we were talking about how quick you were. You know, when you were playing, you had that quick first step, that burst. How much did you rely on that when you played?
I relied on it a pretty good bit. It was like I was a really good slasher in high school, so a lot of people try to make me go right, but I got a really good quick first step, and I finished better on the right than the left. That's what a lot of people didn't even know. So it was like it was good to have, and it was also good to have because I created so many opportunities for my other teammates for people trying to play help D or whatever.
Well, were there any NBA players that you tried to model your game after?
Definitely Kyrie,
Definitely
Kyrie for
Kyrie.
sure.
I can see
Yeah,
that. I can
he
see
was
that for sure.
like it's
Go
like
ahead.
I when I was younger, like eighth grade, ninth grade, I wore 30. 10th grade at Walker, I wore 30. I love Steph. But once I seen like Kyrie coming to the league and I seen like the way he played and like the stuff he did, I just try to model my game as much as possible after him.
Well, Coach Burns is obviously a legendary coach, you know, in the Birmingham area, high school basketball coach. What was one thing that you learned from him that kind of helped you off the court?
Just be yourself. Don't try to be a follower. Be a leader at all times. Don't try to be like anybody else. Do what you want to do and don't be basically just don't be a follower. Like that was one thing he really put in our mindset is always be a leader. Don't follow anybody else.
Well, as I mentioned, when you played for Coach Burns, that was at Parrish and the school shut down. What was that situation like? Was it hard to adapt going to Cordova? I mean, what was that like being a part of, high school that shut down?
It was kind of sad at first because you know what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I was only at Parrish for a year, but it was like that. The school is little and they love basketball, so like it was like a family for real. Like the school just in a whole. As far as it shutting down and going to a new school, I mean, I don't know about everybody else. I really didn't really have a problem because like I played sports, so like I knew all the kids already, and then over the summer, and then I just had came from a new school, so adjusting wasn't really that hard.
Well, what was your recruiting process like? Did you have multiple offers? I know you went JUCO. What was the story behind that?
I had a pretty good bit of JUCO offers in Alabama. I had an offer to Itawamba. Um, the crazy story is I had me and Coach Burns. He got me. Well, I didn't have an offer from Trevecca because my ACT score, but he got me like a visit there. I went there and stuff. Basically practiced with him on one weekend, and it was pretty cool. The only thing is I just did. I needed a 21. I made a 19 3 times, so and then Hibbing, I never even had heard of them, but supposedly it's this tennis player that live in Jasper, and he play like professional tennis. I never talked to him before, but he knew the coach, and he told the coach about me. So the coach like offered me just like he hadn't even seen my film. So it's pretty crazy to know like that somebody I never talked to went out on a limb and did that for me. But like Coach Burns always said, like play every game like it's your last because you never know who's watching. So
Well, Hibbing, that's up in Minnesota. That's pretty far away from home. Was that an adjustment moving up there?
yeah, it was. It was cold. I will say that. It was snow on the ground from like October to April, so it was different. It definitely was different.
Definitely different from Alabama. Well, Treyvon, I appreciate you taking the time to, sit down with me and chat some ball. Hope you have a great rest of the day.
All right, man. Appreciate it. No problem.